Hey guys, Brendan from Dynamic Nutrition here. So today's topic is on why and kind of a little bit of sort of the sciencey stuff behind why short-term diets, crash diets, 12-week transformations and that type of thing generally sort of don't last long term or aren't sustainable. So um, often, the crash diets or the 12-week transformations, there's lots of drastic measures are taken and that type of thing. So this is a contributing factor as well. But what it does have a lot to do with is the microbiome in the stomach and the gut, okay? And the way that's all set up. So to help sort of get it across, like basically at any stage of our journey, we have a certain set up as far as the bugs in the gut, okay, so the bacterias and that type of thing. So okay, if we're a little bit overweight, we'll say we're fat, we're overweight, we're fat, okay, so we have fat bugs in our stomach, okay. So what we do here is they are dictated by the foods that we're consuming that have got us into that situation, the environmental factors that we are exposed to, the water we drink, the exercise or lack thereof, and all these sort of contributing factors. So generally what happens is we undertake a fat loss campaign where we change our diet, okay? So we change our diet, we increase our exercise and that type of thing. And so what that does over a period of time is that starts to alter the microbiome or change the bacteria in the gut. Okay, now this is a great thing, obviously, and this is when the composition in the body and the health, the metabolism, and that the hormones and that type of thing start to change, obviously, because the microbiome controls all of those things. So it dictates your hormonal profile, your metabolism, all that sort of shit. Okay, so now what happens to the fat bugs is they don't die off initially. They actually go dormant for a period of time. Okay, so if you're one of our clients, I've spoken to you before about how we need to give the body time to find a new set point. Okay, so that's got a lot to do once again with the gut bacteria. So what happens is these fat bugs, they sit dormant, okay, while we undertake the fat loss campaign and while the gut bacteria is changing. Now, we need a certain amount of time. It's different for every individual, obviously, but generally it's around that 6 to 9 month mark before the fat bugs that are dormant will actually start to die off, and then the good bacterias that we have started to create in the gut will therefore take over and become that new setup down there, so to say. Okay, so this is why we see a lot of the times when someone will do a 12-week diet or that type of thing, and they peel the weight off and it's all fucking marvelous and flowers and sunshine and all that sort of bullshit, and then within 4 to 6 weeks of returning to old habits, okay, that the weight starts to come back on, everything gets out of control, and then therefore often people end up putting on more weight than they've initially lost. So basically what we need to do is we need to create that new set point. So that's why we focus on changing foods over a period of time. We look at slow, sustainable weight loss and body composition changes. Also, we don't play all our cards at once, so we don't just jump in full Monty straight off the cuff and smash it with everything. There's also vitamins and minerals that are really important in supporting these processes. Okay, so changing the food's awesome, but the vitamin and minerals will also help to kick these processes along and help these things set in more efficiently. So your magnesiums, your fish oils are great, your probiotics, that sort of shit. Your greens like superfoods, that sort of stuff. So all those types of things just sort of help it sort of kick along in the right direction. Now, what you will find is that once you set that new set point, okay, so you've put in the work for that 6 to 9 months, then generally you've broken a lot of bad habits, you've created a lot of new habits, and they're more sustainable in the long term. Okay, so that means that you're sort of more inclined to continue eating those good, clean foods, because really you can't expect to change everything just for 3 or 4 months and then be able to go back to old habits and keep those changes. Like, that's just not realistic at the end of the day. And it's the same sort of process for like us as far as competition prep and that sort of thing goes. So the cool thing about that is that's why for us that we continue to make progress, and comp to comp we try and get better and we get more conditioned, we get leaner and those types of things, is that we are constantly resetting set points, So fat for me in this off season is always single digit body fat, and as we sort of get leaner and leaner every time, as we come back out of that competition diet and cardio schedule and routine, basically all we're doing is just increasing more of the foods that we have been eating, increasing the amounts and that type of thing to help bring energy levels back up and obviously bring fat slightly back up as well. But it's not a major change for the microbiome as far as what's going in. So if you're a competitor as well, this is where you have to be really careful from going for a really hardcore sort of comp process and dieting really hard, and then getting to the end and just wanting to sort of binge on foods and that type of thing, because you've been missing out. Like, we've all been missing out. We're all looking for those foods, but this is why we incorporate high carb days and refeed days, and we have a little bit of shitty food in there once a week or something like that. Obviously that gets pulled in the closer we get to the competition, and we're focused more on replenishing with clean foods, so more of the good carbs and that sort of shit, more of the good fats, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's really important to note, like, because if you you had a really high composition and you did a 20-week 5-month comp diet, and then you sort of get to the end of that, you compete, and then you come straight out of that competition and you start chaffing back all those foods that you've been missing out on, that bacteria in that stomach is going to come back to life. It's going to change so fast, and then you're going to pick up 5 to 10 kilos in the first couple of weeks. You're going to fuck your body. You're going to gain fat rapidly because your body's already in that state of starvation. It wants to gain it back too. So you just have to be really careful and really aware of how you're approaching it. That's why the whole reverse diet process is super important for athletes, and just for even our if you're just looking to get healthy and lose weight and that type of thing. Like, often a lot of the time people are coming to us and they're just not eating a lot of food, so therefore we start them on a reverse diet process. Slowly start increasing calories. Every couple of weeks bump it up a little bit more. Include more foods, and generally what that will do over a period of time is reset that bacteria. It'll help kick that metabolism back into drive. It'll support that hormonal profile. It'll get you healthy. It'll fucking help your composition change. And it's happy days. So at the end of the day, I suppose it's really just about being super patient, being consistent with the good foods, eating the foods that like you and like your body, that are good for your body. Okay, so keeping it clean, We can still have a bit of a shit meal once a week, or a bit of a cheat and that type of thing. It's not gonna hurt if sort of that other 85 to 90% of the time you're on point, you're drinking heaps of water, you're sleeping well, you're exercising, and just looking after your health. Like, it's not rocket science. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? And for long-term success, we've got to put in a little bit of work. But it is achievable, super achievable, and it's not hard if you've got the right focus, the right mindset, and you are committed to changing your health and changing your life. So, yeah, that's about it in a nutshell. Check us out at dynamicnutrition.co.nz. If you have any questions, anything like that, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, email us, and we'd love to help you. We help lots of people every day. We've got experience, we've got education, we've got achievement, and we've got a truckload of passion for changing lives and making people healthy. So, give us a yell. Cheers.